Guys, all right, last week we talked about push-up and proper form for a push-up. Today I'm going to move to lower body and talk about squats. Squats are one of the most effective exercises. They are so good for you. They're a compound movement. They work the entire body. I love squats. Plus, they're one of the most functional exercises you can do. Why? Because we squat every day. We squat when we sit down in a chair. We squat when we sit down on the toilet. And personally, I want to be able to just sit down and stand up out of a chair and off the toilet forever. I don't want to have to do one of these, right? So squat, squat, squat. Now let's figure out how to do proper squat. I'm going to take off my slippers and I'm going to angle down a little bit more so you can see my feet. There we go. So you're going to start, first thing you want to do is get about hip width apart for your stance. Some people are going to be a little bit wider, some people a little more narrow, and that's okay. Just make sure you're within reason. You're not touching super close and you're not way far apart. That's more of a sumo squat. And we're going to talk just about the basic squat today. So we want to be about hip width apart. You want your toes aren't going to be completely straight and they're not going to be out too far, but you want them about 5 to 15, maybe 20 degrees out. Angled out, and then you're going to think about pushing your butt back. I'm going to have you guys put your arms out straight. It's going to help keep your shoulders back, keep everything nice and tight and engaged as you go down too. And then you're going to keep your weight from the heel to the balls of your feet. You want to be able to wiggle your toes the whole time, and I'll explain why in a minute. But just make sure that when you come down, even when you're in your squat, you can still wiggle your toes. So again, hip width apart, feet angled 5 to 15, maybe 20 degrees, arms out, weight in the heel of your foot to the balls of your feet, not in your toes, and you're pushing your butt straight back. So your knees are staying behind your toes, and they're also lining up with the edges of your feet as they come out, which means they're not coming in as you go down, and they're not going too far out. You want them nice and in line. And I'm going to show you from the side. So hip width, angle, toes angled, butt back, arms out. You're coming down. Squeeze the butt to get back up. Keep everything nice and engaged the whole time too. Why do you want your knees not to go in? That's bad for your knees. Why do you not want them too far out? That's also bad for the knees. Why don't you want your weight in your toes? Because if you go weight in your toes, your knees are coming forward. Again, bad for the knees. So that's what a lot of people don't like squats because they say, oh, they hurt my knees. But it's actually more, generally speaking, this is not for everybody, but generally speaking, that's more because they have improper form for their squat. And then the last thing I need to mention too is how low should you get? It does depend on the person, but suggested at getting at least parallel, so getting your hip parallel to the ground or lower is going to be the best, and you're going to get the most out of it. Again, you want to get at least parallel so that you are able to just sit down in a chair. You are able to just sit down on the toilet, and you're not having to use, assistance for that. And our bodies, if you notice kids, when kids squat, they do get down all the way. That is more natural for our bodies. We unfortunately, with the amount of sitting that we do, as we get older, that becomes a lot more harder. And yes, not everybody is built the same, so some people can't get that low, and that's okay. But for those who are able, if you can get all the way down, get all the way down. You're going to get more out of the exercise. You're not getting much out of your squat if you're here. This isn't doing hardly anything. You're losing a lot of the benefit, and you're not helping yourself in the functionality of it all with the toilet and the chair. So get low, get low. All right, guys, let me see your squats.